Cool. So I first want to set a context for the call that's just so you get a sense of where this is coming from, why we've created this call, especially after the event Good to Great that we went to over in Brisbane with David Wood. Who's actually been to a university in action with David Wood? Yeah? Awesome. So about half of you guys. Yeah. So you'll know this one, like the main quote, which I could just sum up as this is the whole context for the call is your team and the people you get started, they'll do 50% of what you do, and they'll do 100% of what you don't do. So if you want to write that down, write that down. In fact, get a pad and pen out, because a lot of what I'm going to be saying is, it may be actually already news already stuff but some of this will be fresh. So just take note of the flow in which I go through this in, and also just any other notes that you feel will add value to duplication in your business. So I want to touch on the 100% of what you don't do. So everything you don't do, your team won't do. So just, you want to be focusing on like always what's missing all the time. One thing that we do, that we know Josh and Sarah do, that Adam and Bianca do, that has been duplicated down, is that we always self-assess and look at what's missing. Like, what are we not doing? What's not working at the moment? What can we bring to the team that's going to add value and bring more duplication? Particularly more duplication is what we got out of Good to Great. Just seeing that everything that David Wood does, and everything he does in his network marketing business and Nice Chance, as well as in his training, is he uses templates and systems for literally everything. It was stage presentation training, but there was like 4 or 5 templates for everything on that training over that weekend. And the biggest thing that you'll know, that you'll start to get into as you duplicate better and better, is that templates and systems are a safety net. It was one of the biggest takeaways I got out of Good to Great, is that we have safety nets. Isagenix has given us all the tools and systems to use as a safety net for us in our business to rely on, so that we know that we can use it, the people we enroll can use it, the people they enroll can use it, and so on. And that's how you create duplication. Like, that's the sum up and context for this call. Now, when it comes to building retention with people coming on board and staying on board, I actually want to go over something that Josh has been over on a previous call, but go into a bit more detail with you guys and have a bit of a question and answer session at the end, and just go through a few common sort of objections that come up when you like want to get people into the isolating challenge, little things like that, because I feel that's where a lot of you guys and even Rach and I got stuck at the beginning. Is like, are we getting people into the isolating challenge, and how many people are we getting out of the people we enroll, and why aren't we with those people we are, things like that. So I want to follow through on those things as well. So I'm going to share screen.
One thing, Isaac.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been asking the team kind of questions since I got back, and not trying to trick you guys or anything, but just to see what we can do to help you as much as possible. And one of the things I've asked a few of you is who's using the 30-day tracker and how are you finding it? And, most people said that they had no idea really how to use it, or that if they were using it, it was kind of they were using it sometimes. And then also the other thing is that if our businesses aren't growing, we're not seeing our cycles grow week on week on week, really looking at, the likelihood that we're using systems and tools effectively, we're probably not. So that's something I really got from Good to Great. And then obviously talking to you guys, when I looked at it, I was like, oh, okay, so there is things that these guys could be doing that would really help them, because look, we want to make sure that you guys are all getting paid and that your income is growing exponentially. So
yeah, thanks, Rach. No, exactly. And I even myself, if I be honest and just be straight up with you guys, it's taken going through a few people to get a sort of flow and how I follow the guide and making it my own, while also creating it as a system and duplicating it. So now everything I'm going to share with you on this call, out of Rachel, I am the main person who manages the tracker. So if you're in a couple, I think it and believe it really works to have one person managing the tracker and checking in with the other one. Whoever's the strongest at being more organized, there's usually one in the couple that's stronger at being organized. So that person is probably the best. And if you're an individual, hey, you've got to do all of it, but it can work either way. So first thing is, unleash the best you, free the best you, pathway to success. So this page has all the tools, all the UTBY, FTBY branded, systemized tools that we can use to ensure that people get an awesome first 30 days and beyond. So the first tool that I want to cover is the new customer 30-day coaching guide. So when you click on this screen here pops up. So just to get a show of hands, who's actually already using this tracker? I just want to get a sense of, yeah. Okay, cool. So most of you are using it, and there's a couple of you that aren't. Awesome. Cool. So what we want to do is we want everyone using this tracker. Like everyone who's sharing the products with people and is wanting to earn an income should be using this tracker, basically. I'm just going to keep an eye on the chat as well. Yep. Cool. Thanks, Emma. So yeah, like this tracker, it's the #1 duplication tool. If you're duplicating this through your team, you're going to see, like Rachel was talking about, exponential growth in your residual income, your cycles each week. People are going to be getting awesome results. Awesome results then leads to them sharing with other people, them using the guide and so on. And that's what we want to create. So this guy, #1 tool. #1 tool we want to duplicate. And if you're like me, which I'm going to show you, I use an Excel spreadsheet and I use Google Docs to track mine. A lot of people like to use the printed version of this because if you print this, it comes out in A3 size. So you can print a few of those and use those as a printed copy. Or if you search coaching guide, like I've done here, you'll see Josh has uploaded a file for the Excel spreadsheet version here. And you can click this and then that opens up the Excel version. So if you want to use the Excel version, cool. If you want to use a printed copy, use the PDF and print that out in A3. Either or, it's whatever works best for you, honestly. But I'm going to show you the Google Docs spreadsheet version. So what that looks like is here. Now I'm going to use my mum as an example. Like, you'll want to print out a few, especially as you start to enroll quite a few people. We had like 15 people we were taking care of at the same time. They were all in these spaces, but they've gone on to months 2 to 4 tracker, which you can see down there. I'll cover that after I've gone through the 30-day tracker. But I'll just use my mum as an example. So first step is, as soon as you get someone started, and this is what I do, I'm going to tell you exactly what I do because I feel like I've got a handle on this now and doing it quite well and I've got some good retention over the last couple of months. So the first thing I do is customer joins, you put down their join date. Straight away, you put down the date that they started. And I literally fill this in. As soon as I put their details through, I'm straight onto my tracker. I put their customer join date in. I put their order ship date in. All this information that is on that when you say it says congratulations, you've gotten such and such started, it's got the order ship date on there and it's got the customer join date. So you can automatically fill that in. And if you see yellow, I use yellow just to highlight when something is coming up, when it's within a week of coming out, like an order ship date, for instance. And in this instance, Mum's has actually gone out today. So the next step, welcome email and message. So if you've got questions and answers, I'll stop at the end of each little part and then we'll answer them. But for now, welcome email or message. So some people prefer email, some people prefer doing Facebook Messenger. I personally prefer email because when it comes to doing the open the box call, I can go, okay, I sent you an email on such and such. Can you just refer to that? Whereas if you send a message on Messenger, they have to scroll back through and it's a bit of a hassle. So I personally prefer email. And I put down the date of the welcome email when I send it. Now, I duplicate, Rachel and I duplicate this specific welcome email in our team. I'm using Grace because she changed her password, so you can't log in using her details. So I literally use this. I copy this and I paste it into a new email every time I do a welcome email. It never changes. Literally, the only thing that changes is the name. The username, the password is always password 123. Reason why I always make it password 123 with a capital P. You can make it whatever you want, but I feel like password 131, it's easy to remember. 2, if everyone's password is there and they forget their password, you can tell them, well, 1, it's in the welcome email, and 2, if some reason the welcome email didn't get sent, it's password 123. So you don't have to go through the rigmarole because it's quite a hassle to have to reset people's passwords and you're mucking around with that on open the box call. So it's just so much easier to do this. I'm just going to check the chat. Can you guys please send this to me? The welcome email, just saw the above mess. That's cool. We will post the welcome email. Yeah. Thanks, Rach. So that's all that changes. The username, password, member ID number, the order ship date, and their name up the top. And it's just so simple and easy to send that. If you really want to send it on Messenger as well, or they just seem to use Messenger more than email, which is quite common these days, you can always send it by email and copy and paste it into Messenger as well. It's that simple. And that way they get it and they're likely to see it if you send it to a couple different avenues. So that's the welcome email. You can rewrite it to sound a bit more like you. It's totally up to you. This is just what we use, and we've made it to incorporate us. Like we put "we're" because we're a couple. Took me a while to master the copy and paste, but I've got it now. Good work, Linda. Yeah, I feel a few people have got. As long as you get the copy and paste set down, then you're pretty much sorted with being able to copy and paste emails and everything else. So that's the welcome email. Next one up, welcome Facebook post. I don't think I really need to say much about this. If you have any questions, feel free to ask at the end about the Facebook posts. But you've seen so many on like the Wellness Squad page, the Nourish the Best You page. Just make sure you're using just the Nourish the Best You page to welcome anyone who you get started from now on. Wellness Squad is just for those people that got started in round 1 and 2. Care package sent. This is totally up to you guys what you want to use. Rach and I send little cards to people. If they get started on premium or ultimate packs, we generally don't send them any products because they're pretty much getting everything in those 2 packs. If they start on 30-day systems, we often send them like an e-shot and an Ice Delight or 2 with that little card, just so they've got a bit more support on their cleanse days. Because what we've found and through the stats is that people who have more support on their cleanse days from the products generally find it easier. There's better retention when it comes to them actually ordering, and they tend to order more of those products, so you get more BV when you're sending products out in your care package. You don't have to get ridiculous, just whatever works within your budget. But if you're thinking about like you get either $25 or $50 in double PIBs in New Zealand and Australia, it's around about the same relative in UK. If you're just sending an e-shot and I still allowed 2 out, it's not that much. Like you're already getting it back in the PIB, so it's cost neutral. So yeah, it's up to you. Like just sending a card alone, just a little card, like a physical card in the mail, is so powerful. It's surprising. Rachel and I started doing that over the last 2-3 months in particular, and so many people message us back saying we just so appreciate that. Thanks guys for all the support, and like they've just never experienced anything that like that in their life, like around any area, let alone health and wellness. So yeah, it's really powerful, that care package sent part, which is why we've included in here. So customers box arrive, that's pretty easy. As soon as like I tell them when I've finished, when I'm getting their enrollment details, I tell them to contact me as soon as possible, as soon as your box arrives rather. So you will literally just, as soon as they come back to you and say, if they don't come back to me, like say within 2-3 days or however long it usually takes in your area, wherever you live, for the box to arrive, I contact them. So take the initiative as well to contact them if they haven't come back to you within 3 days. Because sometimes they're just busy and they're going, oh yeah, I've got it, I just haven't started yet. So you want to take initiative in that part too. The other thing is you'll see like I'm really systemized and structured in this. It's come from a lot of practice, but I also take this seriously, because if you guys take this setup seriously, this 30-day tracking and making sure you're sticking to every single part as it's designed, your people will take it seriously. My people who do their first 30 days, and I've tracked them with this tracker, like through and through, and just followed every part, they've always reordered. Like there's been actually no one that hasn't reordered, unless there's been an issue with like a health issue or something, something medical has come up. Otherwise, they always reorder. So that's how powerful it is. So open the box call. This is probably the part you want to focus on really heavily. Like you want to focus on this the most in terms of duplication and making sure you set everyone up powerfully when they're starting their box. So we've got the systems and tools. Some of you know them. We go back actually on Adobe. So all these, the Nourish the Best You welcome document. Actually, this I attach to the welcome email now. So when I was talking about the welcome email, make sure you attach this in there as well. But I also actually refer to it on the open the box call and ask them if they've read it. So I go, have you read your welcome email, and have you read that welcome document that we sent? Often they don't.
Everyone might not know how to attach. I'm just asserting this, but some people might not know how to attach the.
Yeah, sure, yeah. I'll go on here. So I'm just going to use this as an example. So on this, everyone has different applications, but it's usually always a paperclip sign. So this in the corner, attach document to this message. You literally just click that, and then it comes up, and wherever you've saved it, I've saved it in a folder called UTBY. Oh, it's actually just, let me just go back and say it. So I've saved it. Desktop. In this folder here. And then it's an NTBY and Pathway to Success. So I just keep everything, all the documents that I basically use to go through on the Open the Box call, all in here. So it's handy to keep it all in one folder. Where you get it from is the UTBY Pathway to Success page under the file section. So if you click on, you're on this Pathway to Success page, you click Files, and then it shows up with all the documents that you need. So save new customer 30-day coaching guide for yourself. If you're Australia, New Zealand, this is the Pathway to Free Products. If you're Canada, it's here. And if you're in the UK, it's right here. And then also the welcome doc and the documentaries list I also save because they go hand in hand. Documentaries list is referred to on the welcome doc. If you're not familiar with what's on the welcome doc, make sure you read through it a few times so you know what you're talking about when you actually come onto the Open the Box call. And that's about it. And then text a few template as well. You use that towards the end of the Open the Box call. So I've just brought it all up on here for easy access. So nourish the best. I was going to
say, if you haven't watched the documentaries that we've recommended, and especially the BBC doco on cleansing, then I would recommend it because that's just sending out a document with a link on that you haven't watched. So when someone's like, "Oh, I really enjoyed that doco," you're like, "Yeah," and I haven't even watched it. So I would recommend doing that.
Yeah, thanks, Rach. And it's just down here. It's right at the bottom. Why Diets Are Failing Us is an awesome one. BBC one, which Rach mentioned. And all the other ones on the documentaries list. So if you've got Netflix, there's plenty. And if you haven't watched these, they will definitely open your eyes, that's for sure. So education is one of the biggest keys for everyone at the beginning of their journey. The more you can educate people without overwhelming them inside a system, the more people are likely to connect the knowledge of what they're learning to the results in which they start to get. It's so key. It's that knowledge, plus it's the feeling and the emotional attachment to the results. So often people, you'll see they get results, and when they don't know any of the stuff that's in this document and on these docos, they just go, "Oh, I feel really good." And then some people actually go, "Oh, well, if I feel really good, I can probably just do this with healthy eating." But that's more than likely because they have no idea what the system is actually doing for them. They just think, that they're eating healthier, so maybe that's it, So we've had people like that, and that's why we created this document. So make sure you're talking about this document on your calls. So key. And then mentioning the docos as well. You don't have to force them to read it or watch it. It's just putting it in their space, and you don't even have to read through all of it on the call. You really want your Open the Box calls to be quick. You're just saying this is what's here and making sure you know what it is. Cool. Now I'm going to use the ANZ one, the Australia New Zealand one, for example. I'm not going to go through all of this. A lot of you have seen this before, but making sure you know it through and through is so important. Making sure they share, repeat word for word. Like it's all laid out there for you. You don't have to memorize it, because when you give this to your person who starts to introduce people, you'll be saying the same thing, that they can read this word for word and they'll start to learn it as well. I honestly believe the key questions in here are already underlined. And these are the ones that I would say, if you're going to memorize anything, memorize these, because you want it to come out natural. You just want to be like, well, would it be of value to you if I showed you how to get your next month's products for free? You really want to say it like that with posture, because as soon as you say that, most people are going to say, yeah, sure. I had my team leader at work who was a big skeptic around network marketing, and like said it was a pyramid scheme and everything. I was like, well, that's all right. You can think what you want of it. You don't have to explain what a pyramid scheme is or any of that. I just said, but would you want to know how to get your next month's products for free? That's all I'm showing you. And she actually said yes. So you can settle people's objections by just saying this is all you're showing them, and then still showing them usually their share repeat and getting them to write it out either on the phone or if you're in person. If you can meet up in person, even better, and you can write it out with them. And then asking them these questions right at the end. This part, does earning $900 or $820 for sharing RCGS interest you? I find a lot of people who are just doing it for the products often say, well, yeah, it does, but I'm just like, wanting to try the products first. And it's quite a common, objection, or more like a common answer that people give you. In those cases, those people, you just go, that's great, that's fine. Well, you know that this is here now. As you start to get results, then we can start sharing with people that if they're not ready to share straight away. So you're setting the process. The main thing is that you create the process, not them. So you're always laying down the tracks for them to follow. So if they're saying that they want to share it, it's okay. You want to meet every single person where they're at. If they do and they're really keen and they're up for it and they want to do everything, give them everything. Like go, yeah, okay, so let's go through 5 to 10 people. We'll write down their names together. We'll go to text a few template. I'm not going to go through all this, but you do their first 1 or 2 messages with them. You support them through it. That's the only people you do that through. But the majority of people will say they'll share when they get results. And that's okay. You just want to know how to handle that. So we can talk a bit more about that then, because I almost can 100% guarantee that people have questions and answers on how to handle those conversations. So I just want to get through all this first. Ice Body Challenge. This is like, as you know, this is where all the results come from. People, hands down, get better results. And I say this to people. When they say, oh, do I need to do the challenge? Do I need to upload my photos? Do I need to show my photos to people? I go, first off, I say, no, you don't need to show your photos to anyone. You can show your photos to people if you choose to. If you get amazing results, you want to share and inspire people. I say that. And then they go, oh, okay, that's cool. So that settles that. Mostly I say, look, everyone who does the challenge gets better results than people who don't do the challenge. That's my go-to. I don't know, Rachel, if you have something else or female, but I find that's just the easiest way to say, like, people doing the challenge get better results. Do you want better results? They go, yeah. I go, awesome. Then you should do the challenge. And most people literally just go, okay, well, I'll do it. And they'll just follow you because they started this because they know, like, and trust you. So they're going to follow whatever you say. Cool. Rach, did you think there was anything else to cover on the challenge? I did have one other thing, actually.
No, I just show them, obviously I do the open the box with them, like show them, like talk them through all of their products. And then I show them their back office. I show them where to register into the Ice Body Challenge, how they do it. And then, then I just go through the pathway to free products. And I go through the pathway to free products with every single person. And I am constantly, like every day I'm on calls for people's people because I do the pathway to free products with everybody.
Yeah, thanks, Rach. You reminded me too. So when you're in your back office and you're taking people through, note this down really quickly. We got this off Kylie Donaldson, who I think is still currently the #1 income earner in Australia and New Zealand. So the main thing she goes over, I won't go into detail, but if you feel like you need more detail, we can always do this one-on-one. But she goes through how to place an order. That's the first one she goes to. And we do this. Also, how to manage your auto ship, and actually goes in there, shows the person exactly how to edit their auto ship, how to change the date if they need to, shows them that on the first call. And then quickly just says, if you want to see any of the events coming up, you can see events here. If you want to check out your order history, just go into this one here. Doesn't actually go into all of those, mostly just the place or manage order ship are the 2 that you need to go into. And all the rest just explains what they are. People, when they start, when they're product users, they don't have the team bit. They have resources. So just going through that, there's all these resources. I particularly touch on healthy mind and body. I don't necessarily get everyone started on healthy mind and body. I get everyone started on Ice Body Challenge, that's for sure. But I always say healthy mind and body. I share my story. I've done it twice. So you can always share my story if you haven't done it yet. And if you haven't done it, you should do it so you know what healthy mind and body is. But I did it, and it's a 60-day program. I go into it and say, if you want to learn more about it, let's just click on it, and there's more information about it in the next screen. There we go, yeah. So, and it tells you the price and everything if they want to know more about it. And there's healthymindedbody.com if they want to watch a video on it too. And then the last little bit is contests and promotions. I show them how to enter the Ice Body Challenge. Now, we've already got one entered. This is Rachel's one that's going to pop up. But the handy thing I find is the Ice Body Guide to Success is one I use all the time when I'm showing people. Rather than explaining to them and trying to do it over the phone, I click on this guide. I actually send it to them on Messenger, and I get them to open it up on the phone. I actually get them to open up on the phone. And once this opens up, I say, if you go to page 3 or 4. It's not loading. Anyway, on one of these pages, there we go. So it actually literally shows you sign up on a desktop or sign up on a device. I ask them, which one would you like to do? I say to them that signing up a device is easy if you're taking photos on your camera, on your phone, I mean. So usually I do that one with them, and I go, awesome. So you just follow this. And if you get stuck, let me know. And I get them to commit to when they're going to take their photos. So can you take them in the next day or 2? And they usually say, you just get a by when date from them, and that's when you can have them commit to something that you can keep them accountable on. And then
we watch our ISA Pulse because we know if people haven't entered it, because if they doesn't pop up on Isopulse, then they haven't entered the Isobody challenge. And then I go back and say, oh, you said you're going to enter it on Sunday. How did you get on doing that? Knowing full well that they haven't entered it. And I'll follow them up. I'm still following people up 6 weeks later to enter the Isobody challenge. I will never stop following them up about entering the Isobody, even 2 months into their journey, because look, there's people that just need to get on it, and sometimes like everybody needs to be on it, but I mean, sometimes it just takes some people a little while longer, and there's no point just going, oh well, they've not entered it in their first 30 days, so therefore I'm just going to kind of give up on them. You want to get the minute, so get the minute at like whatever it takes, basically. Unless they tell you, don't talk to me about the Isobody challenge anymore, I don't want to enter the Isobody challenge.
Yeah, but the thing is, the reason why I take everyone through as simply and as like succinctly, but as like as thoroughly as possible, is because at the beginning they're really excited. This is like they've gone started. It's a new journey. This is when you want to have them committing to things, because this is where their commitment level is the highest. Right when they get their box, that's like when they're like, oh, my box. Yeah, I'll do the challenge. Yeah, I'll do this. So you want to get them at that point, because after the first few days go by, actually sometimes the first few days they're at their lowest because they're getting detox symptoms and all sorts of things. So you really want to get commitment level, like get them high at that commitment level stage, which is right when they get their box. So that's the number one tool I use. Let's check the chat. So good, Isaac. Sweet. I don't have the welcome doc on the history Facebook page, files page. It should be on there, Judy. We can always look at it after this. Cool. So where am I up to? Let's go back to my tracker. Healthy mind and body, like I was saying. Start date. So most of like the energy is spent on this section for your 30-day tracker, because that's where they're most excited. That's where you want to make sure they're fully set up. You set the process. You take it seriously, so they take it seriously. Those are the main key points of what you want to focus on in that first few days, and making sure you get the welcome email out straight away. And, like, they'll get you serious when you do all these steps ASAP, like straight away as soon as they get started. They'll go, oh, they're serious. They're going to coach me. They're going to kick my butt, sort of thing, And you want them to get the best results. So that's what you want them to.
Sorry,
get.
one thing, Isaac, when you keep flicking back and forth, like if I didn't know which order the tracker was in, I would get confused. So maybe at the end, if you just want to show them like the A4 page that you have up, the one, because it's kind of like not knowing which order it's in, if that makes sense.
Oh, no. Yeah, I get that. I'll show you the full page. It's just there's other people here I don't want people to get distracted by. So I'll show that at the end. So far we've gone customer join date, going to open the box call, Isobody challenge, happy mind and body, start date. So the start date is whenever they start their first shake. That's your start date. Contact them on the first 3 days. Like, make sure you tell them when you do the open the box call, I'll be contacting you on the first 3 days. And how do you prefer to be contacted? I always ask that. Usually it's by text or Facebook Messenger. So, okay, awesome. And sometimes they want phone call. So you just meet them where they are and what they want. So usually I'll message them on day one, say, hey, how you doing on? How was your first shake? And just, I like to get a sense of like how it was, like texture wise. And like, I just go into detail a bit sometimes just so I can get a sense, because often they don't make the first shake very well. And even though you take them through it, people are still going to make mistakes. Did you want to say something, Rach?
No, I was just replying to Brooke.
Oh, cool. So day 2, I often say, do you have a favorite shake flavor yet? What are you enjoying about it? Sometimes they won't say what they're enjoying. They'll say, I actually feel like crap. I've got headaches and detox symptoms. That's when I usually go, okay, that's absolutely normal. And I often tag them in the, there's a post that was put up on the Wellness Squad and the Nourish the Best page. I can't remember what it's called. If you search healing crisis. Yeah. If you search healing crisis, there's a really good one Vanessa put up. And if you tag them in that, Leanne Wood, it's a repost from her. So yeah, it's amazing. It explains exactly why you have those symptoms. And everyone's just like, oh, okay, well, that's normal. Cool. I'll just keep going. So make sure you do that. Before cleanse day, making sure you've already set their cleanse day on the open the box call. So I'm sorry, I'm going backwards, but on the open the box call, you always set their first cleanse day. So then you put that date, the day before that date, in here, because that's when you tell them, I'm going to give you a call. What time works best for you to have a call the day before your cleanse day? And you set that call time, put it in your calendar, That's when you have that call with them. The video is just only if you can't get hold of them the day before that you would send the cleanse day video, or you would guide them to the IceLife app. Actually, the other thing, sorry if I backtrack, but I just want to make sure you guys get all the important parts of this. This here, the, where is it? Isogenics welcome link. Make sure you definitely have that. If you're using your own welcome email, make sure you have this link in that email, because this gives them the 3 key steps. The IceLife app, which increases retention, as you might have seen stats that were put up on the Unleash the Best You, Free the Best You Pathway to Success page, that your retention actually increases and more people reorder when they're using the IceLife app. So make sure people are using this, that you guide them through how to use it if they choose to use it as well. Some people just don't want to use apps, and that's fine if they don't want to use it, but just create the value of that. You're generally, just like the Ice Body Challenge, if you want the best results into the Ice Body Challenge, use the IceLife app, and then you let them choose. Ice Body Challenge, commit to the Ice Body Challenge, and share Isogenics post, which is you share, they share, repeat with the video. So IceLife app was the main thing I wanted to point out there. Cleanse day number 1, if they're doing double cleanse, I put both cleanse days on there. Post cleanse day congratulations post, which goes up on the Nourish the Best You page, congratulating for their smashing their first or double cleanse. Cleanse day number 2, I book after their first cleanse or double cleanse, and I put those dates in here, just making sure you're always tracking what they're doing and you've always got it down. I also highlight it in yellow when it's within a few days of coming up, usually within 5 days. I would highlight it in yellow. So everything in yellow, I basically go, okay, that's something I need to look at because it's coming up. So that's how I work it. However you want to work it, highlighters or whatever for the printed copies, really works well. Day 8, another contact day. If there's someone who doesn't really like contacting, you may not contact them as much as this. They'll tell you, and you'll get a sense from them, and you might even want to ask, am I annoying you? Just ask them if you feel like you might be annoying them. They'll say yes or no. If they love it, just keep contacting.
Yeah, because the other thing I was going to say is they're not babies. These are grown adults that have decided to do a program. They're not children. If you don't speak to them for 24 hours, I think sometimes we can get into this. Oh my God, I need to be contacting people all the time, 24/7. We don't need to do that. Just contacting them the days that it says, day 11, day 8, day 11, day 14. It's all G, but don't get into this space of feeling like you're responsible for how their journey goes, because at the end of the day, if people are committed, they will stick the course and they'll do the program as designed. It actually shows them in the box how to do the program. This is just a backup so that it's increasing your retention. I don't think you need to be like their mother, because I've fallen into that I don't know what the word is, that trap before, where I'm just oh my God, I haven't spoken to such and such for 48 hours. And it's just, it's crazy. You end up spending your whole life messaging people about their Isogenics program, when literally, you can just contact them every few days and check in, and they'll be all good.
Yeah, cheers, Wage. And measurement days, take note of these. I've taken these way more seriously in the last month. And you tell people to measure themselves, I just same message. I just go, it's day 9. Day 9 is measurement day. They have no idea. I'm just day 9 is measurement day. It's time to check in with your weight and do your measurements, measure your arms, neck, all the things that are in that guide, that booklet guide they get in their box, and they note it down. Day 9, and then they take their measurements down. And this gets most people really excited, because by now they've done a cleanse or a double cleanse, and they're actually starting to see results. So it's so important that people do measurements at day 9. Some people do measurements every day. It's totally up to them. I generally say that can put you off, because if you don't see results, or sometimes people put on a bit of weight in the first day or two, and that's normal too, and then they drop it the day after. But you don't really want to look at it like that. I say to people, just wait 9 days and then measure yourself after your first cleanse. That's how I usually say it to people, and then people are going to do what they do anyway.
We're 8 minutes over time, Isaac, just so you know.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Day 20, measurement day, do the same thing. Day 21, you want to set up a day to do their auto ship call. Everything else is pretty straightforward, so I'll just quickly go through this. Day 25, check in with them just to see where they're at. Let them know they've got 5 days to the end of their first 30 days. Measurement day, again, just making sure they definitely take day 30 measurements. If they haven't done any of the others, 100% make sure they do their measurements on day 30. And make sure they take after photos on the same day. The reason why I put 12th of July is because my mum started her Ice Body Challenge on 12th of June. So I'm just making sure she takes her 30-day photos from the day she took her photos on the 12th of June. So order, ship, order, make sure you put that in there. It should be the same as the top. And then after that, it comes to like creating a curiosity post. If they've got an amazing results and they're open to sharing, along the way, make sure you ask questions. If they're getting amazing results at day 9, go, awesome, you get great results. Who do you know that could do with the same sort of results as you, more energy and like 3 kgs off? And, you know, that's when they're quite excited. So they'll either tell you or not, or they say, oh, I'm just going to wait till I get a bit more. But just keep checking in with them. Day 9, halfway through is a good time to check. Day 20, just every few days. And if they tell you that they don't want to talk to anyone, then don't ask them again. But if they're still open and they're just waiting to get results, just keep checking in, because you don't know when the point is that they're going to go, oh, yeah, actually, I know such and such and such and such. Because in that first 30 days, it's so ideal. Either straight at the beginning to get people to consulting before they even start is ideal. Otherwise, within that first 30 days, by just checking in with them and, you know, just dealing with anything that comes up for them inside. Like some people say, oh, I don't know if I want to share it right now. And then I usually just say, look, if I didn't share with you, would you have gotten these results you've gotten so far right now? And that's when they go, oh, no. And I was like, well, yeah, well, who can we help? Like, we're just looking to help people. You don't have to do this as if it, just deal with like what's there for them. Like if they don't want to do it as business, say, you don't have to. I'll take care of all your people for you. And that's okay. For people who just want to use the products and they don't want to even share them, just say, you're going to have people get interested in what you're doing and see the results you're getting. If they're interested, refer them on to me. I will get them started for you and you will get money back to pay for your products. You can do that. That's absolutely fine, because the same, you're still creating that duplication and they know what you're doing. If they at any point want to share or even build a business, they will do the same thing with their people and it still duplicates. Cool. So schedule launch party, help write curiosity posts. There's a template for the curiosity post. So when you do your first one, ask either Rachel and I, we're happy to send you our template we use to send a curiosity Facebook post off for them on their personal page. Some of you have already done it yourself, so you know. And schedule a launch party. This is like number 1. If you can schedule a launch party when they're really excited at the beginning, do it and put the date in here. Like if they're more excited towards the end, do it then. Just whenever they're up for doing a launch party, you just want to do it straight away. Cool. Okay, that is all I have for that. I'll zoom out, quickly show you guys what this looks like. So as a flow on, customer join date, open the box, IsoBody, start date, week 1, week 2, 3, order ship rewards week, all the way down to schedule launch party. But like I said, you don't have to wait for these ones till the end. You can do them straight away if they want to do a launch party. There's gaps here because we've got people who've gone into months 2 to 4, but at the end of ours, we actually have the people that we're helping. So we've got Kitty, who's on the call, who we're supporting Kerry and Carol for her mum and Kerry, her friend. Marie, we're supporting, actually, I think Marie's actually doing a pretty good job. I don't know how much we're supporting with Ellie and Isabella. But, you know, the point is that you've got, I always say at the bare minimum, if those people are supporting their people, you want to check in to support them with supporting their people, or just do it yourself because you're the more trained one in how to do this. So you just want to make sure you're supporting them or coaching their people for them, either or, just whatever agreement you have with that person. But just make sure you have at least their order ship dates. So you're tracking that. It's so key that you don't have an upset customer that has their order ship go out because you didn't know, or they didn't know, or they forgot. Rach, did you have anything else you want to cover?
If everyone listened to all of that and they're like, I didn't even know what he just said. Don't worry, because like if you haven't done many of these, either myself or Nat or Kim or whoever enrolled you will do a couple of these calls with you. Yeah. If you haven't really got it down pat yet, you need to listen to a couple, then we'll do them with you at the start. So yeah. And if you've been in it a little while and you're like, I still don't really know how to do a welcome call, that's all good too. Just let us know and we'll jump on a couple of welcome calls with you when you get people started. The main thing is that we just want to make sure that we're looking after people properly, because they've given they've paid $700 to not only use the Isogenic system, but be coached by us. So that's what we want. One thing I wanted to add just before we jump off, because we've gone a bit over time, is when I was talking to Adam the other day, he was saying, you know, if you can get people to consultant pretty much within their first week or when they buy their products, that's really good. So if they're open to you sharing, you share, they share, repeat on the call when they give you their details, do that. Don't hold back, because they may go away, speak to their partner and their mum, and you've created a consultant. They haven't even got their box yet. And essentially that's what we want to be doing in order to create that type of duplication.
Yeah, awesome.
Me, unless anybody have any. I know, Trudy, you've got a couple of questions. I can probably just jump on a call with you and point you in the right direction.
Yeah, we can do one-on-one chats. Months 2 to 4 tracker. This is just to show you we still track people's order ships for the next 2 to 4 months during the Ice Body Challenge. We track when they started the Ice Body Challenge. There's a report where you can get the start date for everyone's challenges under the reports tab in your back office. So you can find that, the Ice Body Challenge report. So we note that down here. I don't go through any of the rest of it. I just make sure I'm keeping track of these, just touching base with them when their second order ship's coming out. Sometimes their third, just depending. It's case by case, but I always tell them about their first and second order ships coming up. So I'm just going to go to the questions and answer the ones that have come up in the chat. Let me do any key ones. Cool. Healing Crisis again. So if you search Healing Crisis on Nourish the Best You, Trudy, just search Healing Crisis like I did on the Pathway to Success page, that search bar. Yeah, you'll find it, and Vanessa's post will come up. Awesome. Okay, do anyone have any key questions or any burning questions they wanted to ask around any of that? I know it's quite a lot to take in, especially if you're new, but you will start to get into the flow. Yeah, Linda?
Sorry, I always have questions. Right, 2 questions. The first one was the document that you send for the ISA body. Where do I find that in the UK? You know, the one where they can find page, whatever it was, page 7?
Same place as for Australia and New Zealand, on your back office, under where you view your Ice Body Challenge, your own one.
Yeah. It's
on there. The other place it is under isabodychallenge.com. You can actually find it on the website too.
Okay.
I think it might be UK.
And the other thing that has come up for me was one of my people was that her 12 monthly membership came out and she wasn't aware of it, or she'd forgotten about it. And I got sort of an irate text saying that Isagenix had taken her yearly membership again, and she wasn't very happy about it. So that was another thing that when we're tracking, I'm now trying to keep a record of that to remind my people that also their membership will be coming up if they're still with you 12 months on.
There's a report for that. So if you're tracking people's annual memberships, there's actually a report in your back office that you can go into. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
If you can't
also,
find
if anyone needs to jump off because we've gone over time, do so.
Yeah. But yeah, if you look through all your reports, I honestly would say if you guys are starting to enroll a few people, knowing your reports is so important. And if you get stuck with like where to find stuff and where to find that particular report, Linda will guide you to it.
Okay, thank you.
That's right.
Also, Isagenix sends you an email when it's coming up anyway.
Yeah.
They do every single time, so they just have to keep an eye on their email inbox as well.
Okay, thank you, Kim.
There's a report for everything.
Literally.
Awesome. Cool. Does anybody else have any other questions? No.
Just use the tools. Use the tracker. Ask the questions. Have posture. You set the process. Just own it. Like if you own it as your own and you have confidence in what you're saying to them, and you know what you're looking at, and you've looked over each of the documents and you know them inside and out, read them at least 3 to 5 times each, you can't go wrong. Like you'll see the duplication retention just go through the roof.
Yeah, and just say to people, like, if people are like, oh, I don't really know how to share, just be like, I'll share for you. I'm like, when I got on Trudy's call the other day, I was like, you don't need to share, I'll share for you. Like, I'm your voice in Isagenix in the beginning. So yeah, like don't like, and even if you don't really know how to do it, sometimes in this business, what I've learned is you just have to kind of like fake it till you make it, and actually just be like, yeah, I'll be your voice, like I'll do your calls, and then figure out how you do it along the way. And you just learn, and you make mistakes, and sometimes the calls are average, but then eventually you get good, and and then you start enrolling people for your team, and it just goes. Then they get paid $600. They want to know how, and then you show them the comp plan, and then boom, then you've got them at an event, and then they're firing, and you've got yourself another business builder. But essentially, sometimes you just have to do stuff even when it's uncomfortable. And believe me, like, we spent 4 days being acutely uncomfortable with David Wood. Like, I can't even tell you how uncomfortable that 4 days was. It was like UIA times 50. So, yeah.
But actually, the thing was, every single person could do it, no matter how scared or how confident they were to go on the stage. There was actually a template for everything. And the one thing that we could share from Good to Great is the template. So if any of you wanting to, at any stage, share on stage or present, there's actually a template to open the stage up. There's a template to command the stage, and a template. There's literally a template for everything.
I'm just going to stop the recording now.